Welcome back to another episode of Dreading, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today, we're going to be adding another episode to our TCAP series, this time reviewing the police interview of James Rutherford, the 6th grade Catholic school teacher who traveled 2 hours to meet who he believed was a 13-year-old girl. Since the very start of our series covering this show, James's name has come up countless times, with fans adamant that we had to cover him. And after reviewing the interview no less than 5 times in the creation of this video, we understand why. As always, if there's a video you would like to see on the channel, or a case you would like us to bring more attention to, email me at dreading.official@gmail.com. I'm still consistently going through your suggestions and adding them to the list, but please be aware, we are just 2 people, so it will take time to get to your suggestion. But with all of that said, let us begin. This video is brought to you in part by Hungry Root. If you've watched any of our other sponsorships throughout the years, you would know that neither my brother nor I can cook. For some reason, this has unfortunately been a prevailing theme, and one of the biggest problems we have faced in our daily lives. Truthfully, we were taught to do most of the basic adult things you should be able to do in your daily life, save for cooking, and I have no idea why. It just never stuck. However, Hungry Root has essentially solved that problem for us. Hungry Root is essentially a personal grocery shopper that makes eating healthy when you can't really cook a breeze. They make it very simple to eat high-quality nutritious foods no matter what your needs are. For example, in my first Hungry Root order, they put in these sour cream and onion potato crisps that were fantastic, and neither of us believed they were gluten-free. But you know what? They were. They also provided all the ingredients and instructions for quick and easy meals that could be cooked in less than 15 minutes. The sheer amount of food that came in our box was insane, and the majority of the gluten-free healthy options they provided for us were much more than were typically available in your average grocery store. If you're interested in eating healthier, cooking for yourself, or just trying something new, take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off of your first box. Plus, get a free item in every box for life. So click the link below to go to hungryroot.com and use code DREADING. That's 40% off of your first box, plus a free item of your choice for life at hungryroot.com with code DREADING. Prior to his experience on the Dateline show, James Rutherford was an outrageously average man. He worked as a 6th grade teacher at St. Margaret of York Catholic School and was active in the community. He coached track and was referred to as a steadfast and reliable guy. In 2006, his marriage had begun to fall apart, but otherwise, he was well regarded by those who knew him. But behind this generic facade, he had spent his entire adult life repeatedly talking to minors online. On March 18, 2006, James would begin messaging the decoy who portrayed themselves as a 13-year-old girl, and almost immediately, he would ask for confirmation of her age, which she readily gave. In response, he would acknowledge her age, writing, "Surprised anyone as young as you is here," referring to the message board that they were both on. Shortly thereafter, he would tell the fictional 13-year-old girl that he was a 6th grade teacher, which he then instructed her to think about when he eventually turned the conversation sexual. Over the next week, James would message the decoy every day, going over the things he would do to them if they were to ever meet. He would also turn on his webcam to show himself to the middle schooler, in an attempt to seduce them further. The two would plan for James to visit the decoy on March 26th, only for him to seemingly back out last minute. He would message who he believed to be a 13-year-old girl, saying, quote, "Hey, I just called to see if you wanted me to come up, but you didn't answer, so I guess I won't then. Sorry, hun." A few hours later, he would call the decoy and relay the same message. However, that would appear to have been just a prank by James, as he arrived at the Sting house at noon that day in a red Corvette. He called the decoy, asking her to come out of the home so they could drive around, only coming inside when she insisted, and his life as he knew it would then be forever changed. This portion of the video was originally going to be Patreon only, as it unfortunately has been copyright claimed. However, it was too integral to the video to remove entirely. The footage seen here was made public by Joey's TCAP channel here on YouTube. A link will be left to the original video in the description box down below, should you want to see the video sans commentary. Channels like Joey's that allow us to review footage they have made public are paramount to what we do, so I highly encourage you to go send them some support. It's also important to note that this interview is being done for entertainment purposes only, and therefore none of the questions or tactics used here are meant to glean any information from the subject. Police interviews are done for a multitude of reasons, but mainly to gain evidence that can be used against the person in court, and to help law enforcement understand why the crime took place. Meanwhile, this interview is occurring because Dateline saw an incredible amount of success after the first special. So with all of that said, let us begin.
Come in right now, because he sees me. Come on in. Okay.
These sting operations are run like a tight ship, and are meant to lull the predator into feeling a tremendous high before ultimately being greeted by Hansen and the reality of the situation. Going from such an extreme high to an extreme low is psychologically debilitating, and often leads to the predator accidentally admitting things that are not in their best interest. Dateline does this specifically by having a young person play the decoy and show themselves opening the door. They are only seen at a distance, so any discrepancy in appearance of her age can be overlooked. But the important part is that there is someone there. He's seen the 13-year-old, so he's safe to do whatever he planned to do, which by the chat logs is sexually predate on the child. Before we go any further, we should quickly go over how it is that James found himself in this position. Obviously, he engaged with who he believed to be a child online, then took steps to meet said child in order to have sex with them. That part is clear. But like every other predator we have covered in these stings, James knows that what he is doing is illegal. He would tell Chris Hansen that he knew about To Catch a Predator, and chose to actively engage with multiple minors online before getting caught. It would be easy to simply label every person who was caught on these shows as being stupid and then move on. And in some cases, like John Dupree, that is accurate. But there's more going on here than just that. When analyzing cases like this one must understand that the behavior is rarely the result of a single impulsive choice. That sort of framing lets the predator off the hook for multiple days of attempted grooming and planning, as if attempting to sexually exploit a minor is the same as tripping over a shoelace. First, cognitive distortions do play a role. Individuals often engage in rationalization and minimization to justify their behavior. I'm just going to talk, or it's all online, so it's not a big deal. Bitch, it is a big fucking deal, and we're going to tell you why. First, this type of faulty thinking shields them from the full weight of consequences. The possibility of being exposed or arrested is acknowledged intellectually, but emotionally minimized. This split between cognition and emotion allows them to maintain forward momentum toward the meeting, despite a surface-level awareness of the risks. You can observe this form of rationalization every day in smaller, less disgusting ways. For example, a partner who repeatedly has flirty conversations on social media or text message. They may say they were just texting, and it's not that big of a deal. People tend to have strong bias towards believing they are the exception to the rule. And even when fully aware that the police do run sting operations and others have been caught, they convince themselves that their case is unique. Maybe they're too smart to be caught, or they took proper precautions, so they aren't like the other idiots who have appeared on the show. This is especially true for James, who would state as much in his conversation with Chris Hansen. James is familiar with the show. He's seen the caliber of men who are caught, and he believes that he is simply better than them, which he believes would lead to a different outcome. Finally, there is an interpersonal component, the social disconnection or unmet psychological needs that drive someone to pursue such risky interactions in the first place. Oftentimes, offenders describe loneliness, lack of intimacy, or feelings of inadequacy in their adult relationships. They will say that women their age are always nagging them, wanting them to carry their weight in their relationship, or demanding that they do things like get a job or clean up after themselves. Meanwhile, the minors they talk to online think the fact that they get to stay home every day is really cool. From reviewing enough of these interviews, these predators themselves tend to act like spoiled teenagers who don't want to clean their rooms.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm just gonna go finish getting ready. I'll be right there.
Where are you?
I'll be right back. Just sit at the bar and I'll be right there.
All right, well, I'll be out here.
Just take a seat.
Come here.
Obviously, James feels uncomfortable sitting in the home or entering. He's seen their previous specials. He knows that he could very well be on camera, and in his mind, it's safer to wait outside or to have the 13-year-old girl that he believes he's talking to come outside to his car.
No, I promise I'll be right back.
No, come here.
I'll be right there. Just wait. Try to be a little patient.
Actually, I want you to come here.
That's what I thought.
Don't you have a seat right over there, please?
Oddly enough, James appears more comfortable the moment Chris presents himself. James obviously didn't believe he was going to a sting house, because he drove 2 hours to be there. If he genuinely believed that he was going to be arrested, he probably wouldn't have come. That said, he always knew that this was a possibility. He didn't think it would happen to him, but he knew it could. And now his almost flippant, nonchalant behavior is intended to keep him psychologically safe and feeling a bit more in control of what is happening.
Okay. What are you doing here?
I just came to hang out, really.
You came to hang out.
Yeah.
And you came to hang out with whom?
I had a feeling this was what was going on, honestly.
You had a
Pausing briefly to note that Chris asks an open-ended question about who it was that James came all this way to hang out with. His intention is to get the predator to admit that they came to see who he believed to be a minor. And almost every time this question has been asked on this show, the predator actively avoids answering. In this case, James repeats that he had a feeling that something like this was going to happen. He is once again attempting to frame his own arrest and the subsequent humiliation as being something he chose. To him, and most other predators, actually acknowledging what they are doing would be too much, so they try and avoid vocalizing it themselves.
feeling what was going on?
That this was some sort of setup.
A setup. A setup for what?
I don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't come here for anything physical. I just was bored. I'm going through a divorce. I just wanted to get out of the house.
James continues to avoid answering why he came to the home, this time emphasizing that he's going through a divorce and just wanted to get out of the house, the implication being that he's going through a hard time in his private life, and therefore his choice is more understandable, which of course is ludicrous. There's obviously no amount of hardship that makes predating on a minor okay, but he is hoping to appeal to Chris's humanity. This was just a lapse in judgment, a misunderstanding, and that he is actually a really good guy who was just in the middle of a hard time. He is actually attempting to shirk all the responsibility of his actions off of himself and onto his soon-to-be ex-wife.
Honestly.
So you couldn't go to a sports bar to watch a game, or you
I've been
couldn't go
doing
to
that all
a gal's
weekend,
house?
man.
And so you thought you'd come here to this house?
I knew it wasn't a good idea from the get-go.
Who did you think you were going to meet here?
Just this kid I've been talking to.
This kid.
I know she's a kid.
How old?
13, 14.
13. And how old are you?
Too old for a 13, 14-year-old.
Too old.
Despite James admitting that he came to the home to meet who he describes as a kid, he tries to downplay that admission as much as possible. He says that he swung by to hang out with, quote, this kid he's been talking to, as their conversations weren't explicitly sexual, and they were just unlikely friends. He tries to keep a nonchalant tone, actively admitting that she claimed to be a 13-year-old in their chats, and that he's too old to be talking to her. He's hoping that because he is so ready to admit that he knew this would happen, that he's too old to be talking to her, and that he already knows that what he's doing is wrong, he'll be let off the hook. This is something that is likely highly observable in your everyday life. Think back to a time when you were upset with someone and wanted to tell them off for how they wronged you. Maybe you wrote down all the things you were mad about, hoping to blow off some steam in your confrontation. But then, when you began to tell them off, they just admitted that they were in the wrong and that they were sorry. They casually agree that they were in the wrong, using an almost flippant tone, which leaves you feeling confused. Because they apologized and acknowledged their wrongdoing, it no longer makes sense to express your anger and hurt the way you wanted to, but you also don't feel like they listened or cared. Obviously, this tactic can work in one's personal life, where the issue is small, but unsurprisingly, it doesn't work for James, given that he spent over a week actively attempting to groom who he believed to be a minor.
And how old is that?
26.
26. And you thought it was okay to come over here to visit a 13-year-old girl home alone?
No, I really didn't.
But you're here.
I know. I don't know why.
In most of the Predator interviews we have covered, this sentiment is always expressed. Quote, I knew it was wrong, but I came over anyways. I don't know why I did it, which is obviously partially true. All of the men caught in these stings, and all of the predators we have covered wholesale, know that what they are doing is wrong. They all took active steps to conceal their actions, and didn't proudly announce to their friends and family all of their plans, and they repeatedly told their victims how they could be in trouble if they were caught. However, in their minds, the risk was worth the potential reward. Had a child actively been present, all the danger and consequences they would face would be worth it. Obviously, though, James cannot say that without making himself look even worse. So instead, he pretends that he had no control over himself the past 8 days, or when he was driving to the home. That's all just something that happened to him somehow.
What's your name?
My name's Jim.
Jim what?
Do I have to say?
I'm going to find out.
Am I going to get arrested for this?
That's not up to me.
Are you going to turn me in?
Again, that's not up to me.
I mean, I really... Fuck.
What do you do for a living, Jim?
I'd rather not say.
Jim,
I'd rather not say.
why don't you just tell me where you work?
Who do you work for?
I'll get to that in a minute.
No, I'd really like to know. I'm sure I'm on TV or something right now.
Why don't you just tell me what you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. And what grade do you teach?
6th grade.
6th grade. So you teach kids about the same age as the girl you were coming to see.
I would never do anything.
The following is a message that James unfortunately sent to the decoy. Quote, "I could be your teacher. LOL. Would you flirt with me? Hee hee." Unquote. While this isn't James explicitly stating that he would consider having a sexual relationship with any one of his students, or that he had one previously, it obviously showcases the fact that James didn't seem to consider that to be an ethical boundary. He was more than alright with the idea of there being a 6th grade student in his class he flirted with, or, given how the chats would go on to progress, had a sexual relationship with. That wasn't a bridge too far for him as it would have been for a normal person. So this denial doesn't exactly hold any weight. James would likely know this, but is still trying to appeal to Chris's empathy here. He's just a nice, normal guy whose wife is leaving him, so he felt compelled to have a sexually explicit conversation with whom he believed to be a minor for 8 days, as if that's normal.
I don't know why I'm here. Can I go?
No, not just yet.
Are the police here?
Again,
Sir, please just tell me.
I have some more questions for you. There's nothing I can do to keep you here, but I have some more questions for you.
James knows the police are there. He knows he's about to be arrested, and frankly, the fact that Chris doesn't answer the question is just as good as if he did. But there is still a small part of James that is hoping he can get Chris on his side, that if he sticks with his story, this will all be a big misunderstanding, or an accident, and he's really a swell guy, and all of this will just blow over.
Are the police here?
I have to talk to you about some of the things that you said on the internet.
Okay.
You were on your webcam, showing off in front of this 13-year-old girl.
I know.
And the conversation you had with this girl.
It was bad. I know. I don't know why. I need help.
You're cute too. Definitely have a pretty face. For jailbait. Laugh out
I knew
loud.
it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I'm sorry.
It's always interesting to watch these men react to their chats, because they become obviously uncomfortable when having to face the things they have said to someone whom they believe to be a minor. They tend to try to interrupt, to ask Chris to stop, to placate him, or try and leave. But simply admitting to what they were there to do is difficult enough for them. To then go as far to read their chats, to make them face their own actions and words, it adds another layer of stress on top of them. It's a lot easier to say that they didn't know what they were doing, that this was all a giant misunderstanding and a mistake when the chat logs aren't physically in front of them. But his denial and assurance that he's a good guy become harder to believe after hearing what he told the girl he would do to her if she was his student.
I could be your teacher. Would you flirt with me? She says wink at you and stuff. Hee hee, okay. Cute. You'd like that. I'd be flattered. Not like that's a bad thing. Innocent enough.
I knew I shouldn't have come. I knew I shouldn't have come. I'm sorry, man. I knew it.
What school do you teach at, Jim?
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out. I'm going to get arrested, I'm sure.
How about St. Margaret of York?
That's it.
Is that right? Do you coach too?
Not anymore, apparently.
You say, I guess I'd like to kiss you. You say, I
You
guess
know
I'd
what?
kiss
You know
you
what?
too then.
Look, dude, I know what I said. I shouldn't have said it. My life just ended completely.
Why did you do it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I have
You're a
no
grown-up.
damn clue. This was the stupidest thing I've ever done.
So there are a couple of interesting things we can take away from his response. Firstly, James is so uncomfortable with his own words being read out loud that he readily admits that he fucked up, and when that doesn't work, he hits the bar in front of him and lashes out at Chris. He's visibly uncomfortable, and all he cares about in the moment is getting Chris to stop reading his texts with a minor, even if that means that he admits to everything outright. Secondly, he attempts to keep the name of the school he works at private, despite the fact that he told the minor, and sees that Chris has the chat logs in front of him. Again, it's a feeble attempt to keep some semblance of control in the situation. Sure, he may have been caught in a sting and is likely going to spend the night in jail, at the very least, but maybe he can keep this one piece of information for himself. But Chris crushes that idea immediately after. And lastly, When Chris asks him why he did all of this if he knew it was a bad idea and a sting operation, James swears, saying he doesn't fucking know. Again, he's trying to push any and all responsibility for what happened away from him. This was just an abnormal, weird thing that happened, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't a concerted effort on his part to talk to a minor for 8 days, and he didn't start messaging her or turn on his webcam to try and seduce her. This is just something that happened by accident that he fell into. If we were to look at this scenario and make an assessment, it's likely that James, feeling spurned in his failed marriage, was looking for companionship when he went online, but actively did not want to engage with someone who was on his own level. He didn't want a long-term relationship, or even a short one. He wanted to engage with someone who wouldn't ask anything of him, who would make him feel good and then leave without a second thought. And in his mind, talking to teenagers online was the solution. They wouldn't ask him about his 5-year plan or his 401k, or hold him to any sort of standard, because they're children. And after he was finished with them, he could move on with his life as if nothing happened. But obviously, even if that assessment is true, he's not going to be able to verbalize that. He's actively trying to keep a grasp on any bit of dignity that he can.
Just end it, man. This is...
Where are you most ticklish? All over. Oh my
Look,
God.
dude, I don't
nice.
care. I know what I said. You don't need it for your
You
TV
don't care?
audience. I know that. No. All right, let me phrase that.
Please
I
sit
do.
down.
No.
I'd like you to sit down, please.
I know you would. I'll tell. I mean, I know what I said.
It gets a lot worse than
Yeah,
this.
I know, and I don't want to get into that. If I'm going to be arrested, just please have me arrested. I need help, obviously.
Do you do this often?
No, this is the first time I've ever done
This is
something.
the first time. You know, because I've heard that a lot.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure I'm
It
probably not the
seems
first
like
guy to do this.
everybody who comes into this house says it's their first time.
I'm sure they do.
So, what were you going to do with this 13-year-old girl?
I wasn't really going to. I mean, I called her earlier and said I'm not really comfortable with this. I didn't, and she kept saying, "Come on, I'll just hang out." I didn't want to do anything.
But you did get in the
I
car
don't
and
know
drive
why.
here from
The whole
Cincinnati.
damn way, I was thinking, "What am I doing? Why am I just not going home?"
But still, you
Yeah, I
drove
did.
here,
I
you
don't
got out,
know
you knocked on
why.
the door, and you walked in.
I know, and I didn't want to.
And you're all anxious, wanting to see the girl.
She just said, "I'm just going to watch a movie," and I said, "Well, what the hell? I'll sit there and watch a movie with her."
Want to make out.
Look,
Sure.
dude. I mean, I'm sure the police are probably here. I'm going to go.
Right now, I'd totally do it.
You want to know why I was doing all that? Honestly,
Yeah.
I am going through a divorce. My wife Thursday told me she was leaving me. I don't know what spawned this. I mean, I was just in an Ohio chat room, an adult chat room, and this was a week or so ago, and she started talking to me.
Pausing to say that that is not true. He started chatting with her. It might seem like a small fib, but he's attempting to place the blame on the decoy in this situation, as if he was powerless against them. Moreover, he brings up how he was going through a divorce again, but adds the detail that it was only the past Thursday that his now ex-wife told him that the marriage was over, meaning that he had been engaging with this minor while his marriage was still intact, as far as he was aware. So it is his ex-wife's fault, because of something she said less than a week ago, even though he's been talking to this minor for 8 days. Makes sense.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it right for you to
I know.
have this kind of
I
a
know,
discussion.
and I shouldn't have.
Look,
I guess.
divorce is tough. Everybody gets that.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
not gonna-
Nobody's going to make fun of that, right?
Well, I'm.
Okay, it's not
On
good.
top of that, what kills me right now, on top of the fact that I just blew that part of my life, and I don't even know you, I don't know why I just ruined the rest of my life. I just lost my job as a teacher. I'm probably going to go to jail. I'm not going to survive in jail. For what? For what?
For what?
I don't know.
Do you have an issue with the internet? Do you have a compulsion, an addiction?
I think I do. I mean, it's not.
I mean, help me to explain.
I don't know.
Help me to understand.
I've thought about this a lot for years. Maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should get counseling. Maybe I should get help. And I thought, well, it's not that big a deal. I've never taken it to this step. I don't know if this week has just pushed me over the edge.
Look, you're not the first guy to have an issue with the internet and sexually charged conversations,
I know.
addictions and compulsions.
It's not.
I mean, we see it a lot.
Instead of me being arrested, is there some way you can help me?
Well, I don't know that I can do that.
I mean, will you give me some of the information here and tell me what exactly is going on?
You want to know what's going on? Do you ever watch television? You ever watch Dateline NBC?
Oh, damn, I've seen one of these.
You've seen one of these.
You know, that was one of the reasons I thought, why am I doing this? This could be a setup.
But let me get this straight. You've actually seen our previous programs on computer predators.
I didn't think I was a predator. I wasn't coming up here for anything physical. I know look, that was like fantasy.
Here.
That was like
fantasy.
fantasy.
I know, but everybody says that. But what's going to happen if I'm not here and the 13-year-old girl is?
What James said there is interesting, because even though he spent over a week talking sexually with someone who he believed to be a minor, he is adamant that he isn't a predator. He didn't consider himself to be a predator, and somehow, what he was doing is patently different than what other people have done who have been on the show, which is objectively untrue. As we mentioned before, there's a certain amount of cognitive dissonance on display here. Because he doesn't consider himself to be a bad guy, or someone who would abuse minors, when he does the same things that they do, it's suddenly okay. It's not as weird or gross, because he's a nice person, or has some valid reason to be doing it.
You got all charged up by seeing this gal on the webcam.
I know. I don't know why.
Could I kiss you anywhere?
I'm sorry.
That'd be fun.
Man, I
you
know
could
it's on
point and
TV.
I'd kiss it.
Can I go?
Look, there's nothing I can do to keep you here.
I'm sure you're going to turn this into the police, right?
Well,
I'm going to be on TV.
That's not up to me. I mean, we're doing a story. You've seen the stories before. Didn't you think, after seeing the previous stories,
I did,
that maybe this is something I shouldn't do?
That's why I didn't want to come. I really, deep down, thought this is the stupidest idea. I don't know why I'm here.
But
I know.
Nobody was twisting your arm.
You're right. You're right. You're 100%
You're a
right.
grown-up.
Yeah. I don't feel like one right now. I feel like an idiot.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand how it gets to this point. You even acknowledge it's wrong here, but I don't want either of us getting into trouble.
I know. I knew I could get in a lot of trouble for this. I don't know why I'm here.
You talk about
Stupid.
parking around back. I'm so freaking horny.
Yeah, I know.
You know, if you had me naked, I'd want more, right? Yeah, I would too.
Look, man, you don't have to read it. Your TV got... Everybody that's watching this knows why I'm here. It was stupid. I wasn't really going to do anything.
I know, but that's
But I
hard
know,
to square
I know.
with what you said
I
here,
know.
Jim.
I really know.
And everybody who comes in says, I really wasn't going to do anything.
Not
And if
surprised.
you're going to have this conversation and then come over here and a 13-year-old girl is home alone,
I shouldn't have done it. I don't know what I'm here for.
the other issue, well, it sounds like what you're here for is
Well,
to have sex with a 13-year-old
I
girl.
wasn't going to have sex with her. Look, give me a Bible. I swear to God.
You know, a lot of people have had religious conversions after walking in here.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm not that religious of a guy.
And the other...
I'll tell you this. I might have kissed her. I wouldn't have done anything else.
So James is now so uncomfortable with the situation, so desperate to be told he can leave and they won't include this portion on the next Dateline special, he actively admits that he probably would have kissed the 13-year-old if she had been there, which is really bad for him. He's willing to sacrifice his long-term freedom because he's wildly uncomfortable and is not thinking straight.
You might have kissed her.
Might have. I know I shouldn't.
And where's that going to lead once you start kissing her?
I wouldn't have let it. I'm honest with you right now. I know nobody watching's going to believe. I wouldn't have done anything else. She is a kid. I knew that when I was coming up here. I wasn't going to do anything. I'm an adult.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
That's a position of trust and leadership in the community. You know how kids think. You know it's a very emotionally charged time for them.
I'm not a teacher anymore.
I mean, you're equipped to take advantage of somebody that age should you choose to do so. And by coming here today, it certainly appears as though that's exactly what you were trying to do. Divorce or not, computer problem or not. You know, the experts tell us that, okay, the guy may say, I'm not going to do it this time. Maybe not the next time. But sometime it's going to happen.
You're right. Can I talk to you off camera?
I can't do that. I'm sorry. What's the
Do you guys have any help for me?
There are a number of of ways to get help, and we're going to get into that in the story. We've got into it in some of the past stories.
Is there any way to keep myself off of this thing?
We've made no decisions as to who's going to be in or out of the story. We're just getting started. So I can't.
If there's some way I do start getting help, I mean, my insurance covers therapy, and that's obviously what I need
Look,
for
here's
obviously more than this issue, but another number of things. Even if it was something I just don't. My life's a wreck right now. On top of this, I don't want this to ruin the rest of my life.
Well, I can tell you what. I can give you my card, and you can keep in touch, and we can.
I mean, are the police here? Am I going to be taken out of here in handcuffs right now?
I mean, that's not up to me. But that's my card. I'm sorry, Sprinkle. That's my card.
That's okay.
But if you want to call and stay in contact.
I mean, even if maybe there's, I don't know, a way that without telling the world that I screwed up royally, that you could maybe do hide my identity. I'll even sit down with you, and I can try to get help.
All I can tell you right now is, because we're just getting started with this and we're in the middle of it, I mean, all I'm saying is that you can call me. I'll be happy to talk to you as we continue to put the story together. And that's really all I can tell you at this point. Because I just don't know how it's all going to shape up. And I'm just being straight with you, that's all. I know. So I can't promise you one thing or another.
I promise you a lot right now.
Well, I understand that.
And I'm
a lot of people promise.
I know. And you know what? And the last one I saw, the guy was dumb enough that he came here the next damn day. He went and tried to do it again. I'm not that stupid. I don't know.
He is, in fact, that stupid. It would later come out that during his trial, at the same time, he was engaging with another minor decoy who was part of a different sting operation. Fuck. It would appear that James is aware that once he leaves the home, that he'll lose control over the situation. Whether that be because the police are waiting to arrest him, or his face will be featured on the show, he doesn't know. But again, he is trying to appeal to Hanson's humanity and sympathy here, for whatever that's worth. Unfortunately for James, a teacher who was trying to prey on a minor the same age as his students, then going further to admit outright that he would have kissed them if given the chance, was not something any network would pass on.
Why I'm here. I need help. But you know what, you're right. I'm a teacher. And I don't do it because I'm some pervert. I love teaching. I love kids. It's the only thing I've ever loved. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why I'm here. And you asked me if I coach. Yeah, I coach. And not because I was trying to find a damn date or get. It's because I like working with those people. I like teaching kids, and I don't know what I'm doing here. I know you've heard this. Hell, I've seen people sit here and say the same stuff.
But what does it say?
It doesn't say much for me. I know.
About the fact that you were suspicious. You had seen our previous stories. Probably got a chuckle out of what happened to some of these guys.
Yeah, and honestly, I sat there and watched and thought, those guys are sick. Why would you do that? And that was what, a month and a half ago? And then here I am.
But what does it say about your issue? That you would watch the program,
I don't
pass
know.
judgment on the guys in that show, and then show up here yourself.
I'm obviously a hypocrite. I'm sorry, Mr. Hanson. I'm sorry, all you guys. I'm sorry if this does end up on air. I'm sorry. Everybody else that sees this, don't do it. I mean, that's why I said if there's any way I can get help, if I can show you I've gotten help, if I can show you that it's helping me.
I mean, all I can tell you is that, let me know what's going on. I mean, that's my number, that's my email.
I mean, how much trouble am I in if you do turn this into the police?
Well, that's not up to me.
Do you know? I don't even know.
I mean, all I'm involved in is the story. So
does anybody here know? I know you guys aren't allowed to be on camera,
because they're all involved in the story too. The law enforcement part is something that's separate and that I don't control.
I mean, I know I've seen some of them that I could be wrong. I watched bits and pieces of it. We talked about it, and like I said, I thought, what the hell's wrong with these people?
Did you talk about it in school?
Yeah, we talked about it with the other teachers. A lot of us had seen it. We thought, why would you do that? We all.
So these stories have been a topic of discussion at the school where you teach.
And then here I am.
And then here you are. What are you going to say to those other teachers?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't. I don't know what I'll do. I don't want you to think I'm a monster. I'm not. I'm really not. I don't think. I didn't think I was anyway. Maybe I am.
But you're here. Drove 2 hours to get here.
You know,
Plenty of time to...
I was this close, honestly, to just going to the Wright Pat Air Force Museum. I was this close. I thought, you know, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I thought I'll go there, or I saw some tourist something on whatever state route I was on. I even thought, hell, while I'm here, I'll go to the place I bought my car here, believe it or not, and see if they've got the key they never gave me. I had so many things cross my mind that what I should be doing. And it's like I was thinking no, but I just did it anyway. I don't know why.
I mean, was it like some...
Can I drink this?
Yes, you may.
I can't. It's dry. Obviously.
Are you suggesting that you couldn't control yourself?
Apparently not. I don't know. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I know it sounds like that. I don't know. I mean, I've always talked to people online, and I've never done anything like this. You're right. It's like I couldn't control myself. I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't know if I've just shut down this week. I am about to go through a divorce. I know I wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for that.
If it wasn't for that. I can honestly say that because I wouldn't have, wanted to hurt my wife and ex-wife now.
We already know this is untrue, given he began talking to at least one of the decoys before his wife told him she wanted to end the marriage. The rest of the conversation is relatively uneventful, as James tries to delay the eventual arrest by talking to Hansen. For the full version of the conversation, again check the description box down below. Immediately following his interview with Hansen, James would be arrested. This footage was again made public by Joey's TCAP channel. A link to the original upload will be left in the description box down below. His upload has the entire arrest and processing, which we won't be covering, so if you're interested in seeing that in full, definitely check that other video out.
Thank you.
There was a...
All right, James, is that correct? James Rutherford? Okay. I'm Sergeant Sean Trussell. This is Deputy Scott Mullen, Darke County Sheriff's Office here, okay? You've been read your rights out at the scene when you was arrested, okay? And you understand those rights, correct? Okay, and you understand that those rights are still in effect at this time while we're talking to you, okay? First off, I just want to start by confirming your personal information, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's James M. Rutherford, is that correct?
Back at the Sting House, James was under the impression that he might be allowed to walk free, that he could convince Chris and his crew that this was all a big mistake, that he was a good guy, and that they really didn't need to get the police involved. But now in the small police station, he's realizing that was not and was never the case. As always, we have to remind you that it is never in your best interest to talk to the police if you were ever brought in as a suspect in any crime, especially if you are innocent of wrongdoing. If you ever find yourself sitting across from law enforcement, you should always ask for an attorney because it's their sole job to fight for you.
The reason we have it here is because we have some chat logs.
Yeah, I talked to the guy at the thing about it.
Okay. And we kind of want to sit down and talk to you about it, okay?
Yes, sir. I understand.
There's a chat name that you used,
IU Rutherford.
IU Rutherford.
Yes, sir. Can I ask if I'm being charged? Is that fair?
Yes, you're going to be looking at charges.
What charges?
Right now, till once we talk and we go through everything, just depending on
Okay.
what your belief was, what was actually said, and everything else, and what actually occurred.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As soon as we get done here, I'll let you know the exact charges against you.
Okay.
Okay.
Similar to how Chris wouldn't answer if James was going to be arrested, the main interviewer will not give James a firm answer about his charges. That's because if he were to know the totality of what he's being charged with, he would likely not want to talk to the police. He may ask for a lawyer or feel too overwhelmed to speak further, and they obviously want to build a better case against him.
What was the screen name of the person you was talking to? Do you remember?
I really actually don't know.
I'd say Princess Danica.
Yeah,
Does that sound familiar?
That's it. You guys, should I have a lawyer?
That I cannot answer for you. You do have a right to an attorney, as you are advised in your rights. Did they ever advise what name did you think her real name was?
Danica.
Danica?
Yeah.
Okay. How old did you believe this female to be?
I think she said 13 or 14. I couldn't remember.
Okay.
Unlike other predators we have covered in this series, James is remarkably forthright with the officers. He isn't arguing the ethics of the sting operation, claiming that what he did isn't really that bad because technically a child wasn't involved, or lying about the girl's screen name or age. He already knows, based on his conversations with Hansen, that lying isn't going to serve him. They already have the chat logs, and anything he says they can easily check. But more than that, James is tired. He spent 45 minutes in sheer panic talking to Hansen, and now he's in an even worse environment. He's emotionally and probably physically drained at this point.
I guess first question I'll ask you is what brought you to the address on 5K Avenue?
I don't know. I don't know.
What did you believe was going to happen when you got there?
Honestly, nothing. I had decided long ago that I wasn't going to do anything physical with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. I know that's probably hard for you to believe, but I didn't even really want to come. I told the guy over there I don't know why I was coming. My mind's only stopped. She's a kid. I am a teacher. I've never done anything like this before. And I just kept driving. But I decided long before I got here that I'm not going to do anything with her.
Think of it like this. If someone meticulously plans a bank robbery, writing out every detail, from how they'll storm in with a machine gun or a machete, to how they'll intimidate innocent bystanders, and they stick to their plan for over a week, what conclusion can you reasonably draw? Especially when they not only map it out, but also set a date and show up to that exact place at the exact time that they promised. Now, picture the moment of truth. The would-be robber is arrested in the parking lot, fedora, Tommy gun, and cigars in hand, and right before he pushes through the bank's front doors, imagine him in court saying, "But, Your Honor, you should have let me go inside first to see if I really meant it." That argument falls apart instantly. Why? Because waiting to see if he meant it means risking the lives of the tellers, as well as the customers and everyone else who could be inside. Law enforcement isn't in the business of playing chicken with tragedy. They would want to intervene before harm is done, not after. And here's the kicker. When someone has followed their plan step by step, the only logical inference is that they were going to follow through with that final step as well. Otherwise, why would they bother with the others? So when a predator like James protests, "Well, I wasn't actually going to do it," it's the same as the would-be robber insisting he wasn't really going to rob the bank, even though he was donning his fedora, his Tommy gun, his Rolls Royce, everything. Maybe he thinks it makes him sound less guilty, but in reality, it just highlights the absurdity of the defense. Once you've mapped it out, taken the proper steps, and shown up, your intent is written all over your actions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to touch her. I'm not going to violate her. She's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
know
in
it.
your log, you
I
talked
know.
about
I know.
performing sexual acts together. Is that
We
right?
talked about kissing.
Hmm?
And we talked about kissing.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know. I know.
You talked about her dressing slutty and that she was a virgin. Is that right?
Did I? I
Yeah.
didn't remember asking that, honestly.
You told her that you'd show her your butt. Is that correct?
I really don't remember, sir.
Okay.
I know it was wrong. She said quite a few things, but I don't think I ever said anything beyond what I just told you.
You did.
James may be exhausted from his conversation with Chris Hansen, but he is still trying to push off any responsibility from himself. He claims that he never said anything too bad to the decoy, then states that it was actually her who led the more risque conversations. He's attempting to paint the narrative that he was just the hapless fool who was targeted and forced to engage in sexual conversations that were otherwise completely outside of his character. James sought out the decoy, engaged with her sexually directly after confirming her age, then spent 8 days messaging her sexually, not to mention doing the same thing to another decoy for a different sting operation.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
What did I say?
Maybe I'll tell you in just a minute.
Up here, you're talking about you asked her if she'd make you take your shirt off,
Yeah.
and that you said you wanted to take hers off, and that you would get to see her with her shirt off. And then you asked her if she would want you to take anything else off. And then you asked her once she had you naked, what would she do with you? And she said she didn't know she'd never been naked with a man before. And you said, haha, would you take anything off but your shirt? And she said, yeah. And you said, what? She said, her bra. Then you asked if she would let you kiss her boobs and her tummy. And then you said down here that you're so freaking horny. And you know if you had me naked, I'd want more, right? And then you asked if that would bother her.
I wasn't insinuating that I would make her do more, sir.
It's obvious how absolutely exhausted James is here versus his Chris Hansen interview. When Chris would read his texts, James was so upset he would hit the bar, begin pacing, and practically yell at Chris to stop. Stop, Chris, stop. That's what James would say. He was attempting to get some semblance of control over the situation, and acted like a child being told no in a supermarket. Bad James. That's his mom hitting his hand. Anyways, it's also possible that he wasn't aware of any police involvement at the moment, so he believed that by lashing out and countering everything Chris said, he would eventually convince him to let him off the hook, which obviously was not successful because here we are. However, here he's almost entirely passive. He doesn't desperately implore the officers to stop reading his vulgar messages. He doesn't react to the uncomfortable text between him and the decoy. He just sits there like a bump on a log.
And then you ask her if she means to have sex, and she said yes.
Yeah, she started that, though. I believe, sir.
So you want me to believe that you talk about being horny, and then you ask her how horny she is and if she's wet, and then you say you want to have fun with her.
I mean, I was planning on it, sir.
When James and other predators say something like this, you should always ask the question, why should I believe them? What have they done in this instance that would make you trust their word or their character? The answer is nothing, and obviously you have no reason to believe them. In fact, looking simply at what we know about James and his life, it would appear that everything he had done positively in his life could be used against him in this instance. He worked as a 6th grade teacher, which is a job that doesn't pay well and is remarkably high stress. Normally, that would show a strength in someone's character and a willingness to put others before oneself. You could glean that he wants to educate the generations that are coming after him and create a better future. But he then chose to purposely prey on who he believed were minors in the same age range as his students, which would lead most to assume that he actually chose that job because it put him in close contact with his prey. He's done absolutely nothing to showcase he is a moral, upstanding, or ethical person who wouldn't cross that line. In fact, everything he has done so far can be used to show he's done the opposite.
And you talked to her about letting her see more on your cam. That you thought about sending more. That you was going to be naughty. And then down here you asked what she was wearing. She says jean and tank tops. You said cute. And then you asked anything else, and she said socks. And you laughed out loud. And then she said underwear, and then you asked no panties. And then you said, oh, okay. So you're wondering what kind of clothes this 13-year-old kid's wearing. Asking her if she's horny, telling her that you're horny. I guess my question to you is, throughout this whole thing and the talking, and things that you said, there's pretty much a belief that you guys were going to kiss, get naked, and then it could lead elsewhere.
Not really.
Not really?
Not really is a very poor response to that question, mainly because what James is being accused of is probably the worst thing a person can do. The officer directly told him that due to his chats, it's clear that he traveled to the Sting house with the intention to sexually abuse a minor. To any normal person, that assertion would be beyond offensive. That accusation is obviously horrendous, and most people would vehemently deny it. They would get angry, lash out, and potentially get violent. But James is so emotionally exhausted, the most he can say is, not really. He wasn't really going to do all of that. Sure, he may have done some, or might have wanted to, and so on. But he wasn't really going to go that far. His reaction is more in line with a teenager saying they weren't really going to sneak out, and they didn't really mean to TP their neighbor's house. It's beyond pathetic and offensive, and entirely out of place in this interrogation room.
You didn't take that by what you put in here?
Sir, I never intended, when I was saying all that, to actually come up here today.
But you did come up here,
Yes, sir.
okay?
And I didn't intend
So whether
to
you made an
happen.
intent to come up here or not,
I know it's
you
illegal.
still type this stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
And you had the belief that if you come up here, there was a chance that you guys were going to have sex.
I wasn't going to have sex with her, sir. In fact, I don't think she mentioned it. And I said, you mean sex?
So you're telling me you didn't believe one bit you were going to come up here and have sex
No,
with this
sir, I
girl?
did not. No, sir. I know it looks like that, I'm sure. But no, sir. I did not.
So if you didn't think you're coming up here to have sex, what did you think you're coming up here for?
Honestly, I know you guys haven't seen what I discussed with Mr. Guy from NBC. I don't know why I decided to come up. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be saying this without a lawyer, but I don't know. I decided long before I even got here, though, that I wasn't going to do anything physical with her.
James has mentioned getting a lawyer a couple of times, but he never directly asks for a lawyer. He is keenly aware that he is saying things that can be used against him. He's also aware that if a lawyer was present, they would tell him to shut up, and yet he keeps going. We've seen this in past police interviews, where the suspect will bring up how much they want to potentially get a lawyer involved, but stop short of actually ending the interview to get one. This is usually done for two reasons. The first and most obvious is to try and get some control back in the situation. They're sitting in an unfamiliar, usually harsh, sterile environment, being directly or indirectly accused of some heinous act. They feel out of place, powerless, and as if everything they will do and say is going to be put under a microscope. So, in order to get some respite and assert a little bit of dominance, they tell the person across from them that they're considering ending the interview early and getting legal representation. The second reason this tends to occur is because the suspect is attempting to gain favor with the interviewers. They are trying to show how they are actually a good guy who is being cooperative and is trying to make their lives easier. They've watched all the police procedural shows and have seen how frustrated police get when lawyers get involved, and they know that most people associate getting a lawyer with a guilty party, so they try and point out what a good noodle they are by not doing that, so the interviewer should be treating them better. In this particular instance, it feels more like the second option than the first, but let us know what you think in the comments down below.
But before you made that decision, there was a belief that something physical was going to happen. Even though you changed your mind.
No, sir.
And you said that
In fact, I wasn't
you
even
changed
gonna-
your mind.
I wasn't even going to come up, and I even
And
called
why
her.
did you come?
I don't know. I even called her and said, I'm not really comfortable with this. You're way too young. And she said, come anyway. We'll just hang out. I don't know if you guys have logs of my phone calls, but that is what happened. I, in fact, turned around and was heading home, and I said, I don't think I'm going to come. I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't know if you can check that or not. And she said, no, come up. We'll have fun. I was just looking forward to hanging out, whatever. And I went home and thought, this is dumb. I shouldn't go. But if I drive up and just hang out, I'm not going to do anything. I'll drive home. That's all
What
I
did you
had.
anticipate you were going to have a convo with this girl?
I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I didn't know why I was coming.
In almost every single video we've done in this To Catch a Predator series, a question like this is always put forward. It's something along the lines of, what do you have in common with this particular girl? Or tell us about something that made her stand out. This is often asked because these men insist that this kind of predation is entirely out of their normal character, but there was something just so special about this specific 13-year-old that made them stand out, like they were a random minor who could consent, or something equally as disgusting. And every time that question is put forward, the response is pitiful. The predator will struggle to recall anything interesting about the fictional child they were talking to, despite the decoy going over issues they were facing and tidbits about their life, meaning that even though a significant portion of their argument surrounds justifying their bond with a minor, they can't remember anything about them. James traveled 2 hours to come see this girl after having sexually explicit conversations with her. He's trying to argue that even though he told her he wanted to have sex when they met, he wasn't actually going to do that. And given the opportunity to explain what they would have done instead, he can't think of a single thing.
I mean, judging by what you guys chatted with, looks to me like there's only one reason. Only one thing you could have in common with this girl.
That wasn't. We didn't start off, at least, I don't even know when I met that girl. It was just randomly in an Ohio adult room.
Mm-hmm.
I even said, I'm a lot older than you. I don't know.
James is far too tired to think about what he's saying, which is great for the police and the prosecution, but of course horrible for him. Here, he's directly acknowledging that he is aware of the age difference between him and the decoy, and it was made clear to him early on that he was talking to someone who identified as a 13-year-old, and he didn't care about that he engaged with them sexually anyways, and he then made the decision to travel all the way to them. Most predators will at least put forward the flaccid defense that they were just role-playing.
I mean, do you think you would have anything in common with this girl? Is this a girl you wanted to date?
No, hell no. I didn't even want anything physical by the time I got here, sir. And she's 13. I didn't want to date her. I mean,
obviously there were sexual thoughts.
There were.
I mean, by
Obviously.
what you typed. I mean, that's
Obviously, but
When
No, sir,
at what
I
point
didn't.
did you lose those thoughts? I mean, at what point did you think that those thoughts weren't?
when it became real, when I was coming up here, I thought this is not a good idea.
So you're
Let's humor James for a little bit here, because this argument is actually so stupid I feel a bit of a compulsion to dismantle it, lest someone else think that what he said here makes sense. Say you had a dream you were pursuing, something entirely legal, but something that you spent a week or so doggedly pursuing. Maybe you're working to save money to buy something special, or you're trying to save for a vacation. Whatever it is, you spend a significant amount of time thinking about it, talking about it, and you finally get the green light. You saved enough money, you got your paycheck, and now all you have to do is go to the mall to procure it. But as you get closer and closer to the mall, instead of your anticipation building, it begins to go away. The thing you wanted for so long no longer seems like something you want at all, and actually begins to repulse you. So you don't want that thing anymore, and in fact, you're beginning to question if you ever wanted it in the first place. If that were the case, would you continue the hours-long drive to the mall to get it, or would you turn around and go home? Because that's basically James's argument, that he spent days of his life talking to not one, but 2 decoys involved in different predator catching stings, that he drove 2 hours on his day off to meet with one of them, but he wasn't going to do anything when he got there, that he had done all of this just because he wanted a friend, and someone who he admits he had nothing in common with. Does that make any sense to anyone?
You were like halfway here and thought, what
Yeah,
am I doing?
in fact,
Or-
I told the guys over there, I almost turned off and just went to the Dayton Air Force Museum. I think I just,
Was that about when you started thinking, this is a bad idea?
no. As soon as she said it yesterday, I thought, I mean, on the internet, it's almost like it's a fantasy, like it's not real, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got real, and I thought, what? I don't even want to. That's stupid. And I don't know why I decided to come. I didn't really want to.
They must want to somewhat, or else you wouldn't be here now, right?
I think it was just, I don't know. I'm going, it won't matter to you, but I actually just found out a couple days ago I'm getting divorced. And I've just been trying to stay out of the house and stay busy, and I think I had nothing else to do today.
Again, it's imperative to note that he began these sexually explicit conversations with minors prior to his ex-wife telling him she wanted a divorce. So his assertion that he only did this because of that devastating change to his life is absolute bullshit. Moreover, even if that were the case, getting a divorce does not justify preying upon minors. No series of events, no matter how unfortunate, justifies that.
And thought, well, I'll drive up there if nothing else, and if I even thought maybe I'll get here and turn around. But if nothing else, it was a couple hours I could just be out of the house, driving my car, whatever.
And here you talk about that you'd love to see her in like bra and panties.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Hmm?
I remember saying that.
Okay.
I think I said even something about her laying on top of me.
Yep. You said you'd
But
like
like I
her
said-
laying on top of you, kissing you,
That was
and
like
kind of grinding.
that was like an online fantasy. I never really intended for it to happen. I know you're
But you
not.
had fantasies that there was sex with this.
Not sex, no sir.
13-year-old.
No sir. I never said let's have sex, sir.
Well, I guess I don't understand why a gentleman, how old are you?
26, sir.
26, school teacher, would even have any thought
I
of
don't-
wanting to meet a 13-year-old girl
You know what?
and go hang out.
You know what? I don't either. I told those guys over there.
Why a 26-year-old male would type the things that he typed to a 13-year-old girl, asking her,
I don't know, sir.
listen to me a minute, asking her what she was wearing, if she's wet, talking about her wearing her bra, her laying on top of you, you guys grinding.
I don't
That's
know.
things that a 26-year-old male does not say to a 13-year-old kid. Unless you have ideas or thoughts that sexual acts could happen.
Sir, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I am
Okay,
a
with
teacher.
you hearing everything I told you, would you believe that the thought was,
Oh, I know. If I was in your shoes, hell no, I wouldn't believe a word I'm saying.
you would believe that your
That I was-
whole plan was to come up here and have sex?
Yeah, if I was you, yes, sir.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Okay.
But that's not. That really wasn't my intention.
Well, I guess I still don't figure and understand your intention. You still come to the house.
Yes, sir.
They still
You
said-
didn't turn
said-
you didn't drive away.
I don't know why.
You came
I
to the
wanted
house
to,
anyway.
but I should have. And I didn't. I don't know why. I wasn't going to have sex. I wasn't even going to touch her.
So what was your intention when you got here? What was you going to do?
I mean, I called her and she's like, I'm just going to watch a movie. I was like, well, whatever, I'll watch a movie with her. I mean, up until that point, I still hadn't decided if I was going to.
And you knew she was home alone. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think she said that. So.
Okay. So all this put together, I mean, you just...
I know it doesn't look
You
good.
expect me to believe that nothing was going to happen, or you didn't want anything
Do I
to
expect you
happen?
to believe it? You believe what you want, frankly.
Did you have any remote belief or fantasy that something would happen?
Sir, I'm around
You
kids.
did earlier prior.
Sir, online, it doesn't seem real. It's like I'm talking to people that aren't real.
But online, you still know that she's a 13-year-old female.
Like I said,
So
sir,
why, even if it's not real, would you say those things to a 13-year-old female?
It's all up in the head, apparently.
James is one of the more interesting predators we've covered in this series because he knows, without a doubt, that he is screwed. He isn't like Jeff Sokol, who believed he could outsmart the cops, and he's fully accepted that none of the arguments he puts forward are actually going to be believed. Given how quickly these interviews happen after arrest, the predators are in a state of shock or outright denial. But not James.
That's the only explanation I can give you, is that I'd
Have you ever talked to a minor before on the internet?
rather not answer that, sir.
So that's a yes. Even if we didn't know that he had been attempting to groom a separate decoy in a different sting, this answer alone tells us everything we need to know.
Have you ever had any prior charges of
No, sir.
anything?
No, sir. And I've never done this before.
Okay.
I've never met a minor. I don't know.
Have you chatted with a minor before?
Like I said, yes, I have.
Okay. How many times?
I have no idea. The internet's been around since I was a minor.
Okay. When you say you have no idea, so you're saying many times you've chatted with
I
minors.
chat with whoever on there.
Okay.
I mean, I just hang out.
But
and
you have
chat
chatted
and-
with minors.
Yes, sir.
Of what age?
I don't know.
13-year-olds before?
Probably.
12-year-olds?
I don't like going that low on kids.
So you stay 13. And
Usually,
have you ever mentioned
sir,
the stuff you mentioned in here before?
Sir, usually when I chat to people, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, closer to my age.
Okay.
I don't like going that low on kids. It's a pretty fucking wild admission, because it reveals that James absolutely has a preference. He is aware of that preference, and he seeks out minors in that specific age range. These aren't conversations that he just stumbled into, or friendships that he happened to spark up. He's actively seeking them out, and actively avoiding the other ones. He thinks a 12-year-old is too young for him, but someone who is 13 isn't, which makes the fact that he chose to be a teacher of that particular age group even more horrifying. However, what's interesting about this admission is that James seems too tired and mentally exhausted to have thought through the impact of his own words. Just moments before, he told the interviewee that he'd rather not answer whether or not he had talked to girls the same age as the decoy online before, aware that that would make him look like a serial predator. He knew saying as much would be bad, and chose to keep that to himself, until he found a way to admit to it without saying he had sexual conversations with minors often. But that same consideration or forethought wasn't given here.
But it's not the first time you chatted with a 13-year-old.
Sir, no, it's not.
And have you made sexual comments to these others?
Yes, sir.
You have? Okay. And have you ever met with them?
No, sir. Never.
Is it more of a, you say these things because you want to excite yourself to fulfill your needs while you're there? You fantasize while you're sitting there of what you could be doing with this, even though you're on the other side of the computer. You're saying these things to gratify yourself.
Yeah, there was never any intention to cross that line any time. Even yesterday, I know it.
Okay?
And yet, he did. James just admitted that he had sexual conversations with minors purposely, that this is something he does for sexual gratification, because it's a fantasy that he has. But he keeps these conversations online only, so it doesn't affect his teaching, and he certainly wouldn't act on these desires. But he still did. He got up that morning, called the decoy multiple times, got into his fucking car, drove 2 hours, got out of his car, entered the home. So he made thousands of deliberate choices that day that led to him traveling all the way to meet a minor in order to have sex with them. He can't say that he wouldn't have done it, that he decided to watch a movie or do something else, because he had already made the choices to sexually predate on this minor before. So why would he just stop then at the end?
But I guess I
know.
I'm here to help you, okay?
I hope you can.
And I think you do have a problem.
Obviously.
And you've admitted that, okay? That you have talked to minors before, 13 years of age. That you say the things you say because of your sexual gratification. Do you masturbate while you're doing this?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I have, yeah.
So you're so driven by this, okay?
But sir, it's not
Okay,
like...
just listen to me a minute.
Well, no,
okay?
I think I feel like I should at least tell you, it's not like it's... I go on there specifically looking for little kids.
Okay, and I'm not saying that's all you look for, okay? But you're doing this, okay? For your sexual gratification. You say you know it's wrong, but what concerns me is you go ahead and drive up here knowing this 13-year-old is home alone, by herself. Her parents are not around. You admit to writing the things in here and getting your sexual gratification out of it at home, but you expect me to believe that you didn't have any beliefs of anything.
You know,
by coming up here to visit her.
I almost called her and said, what are you doing? Why are you inviting a 26-year-old guy to your house?
Okay.
That crossed my mind.
But almost and doing are two different things.
I know.
Pausing again to clarify that minors, whether that be children or teenagers, say and do stupid things all the time. They will actively and willingly put themselves into harm's way every day without realizing it, and it's the job of the adults around them to help them. It's the responsibility of every adult in the child's life, not just their parents, to ensure that they aren't running around with scissors and knives, running into the middle of the street and putting themselves in harm's way. I was a child. The first time I was left in charge, I used my parents' emergency credit card to buy 10 pizzas and about 8 2-liter bottles of soda for my siblings and I, and then I ate 3 of the pizzas myself, because that's the kind of guy I am. We all got sick because we were too excited by the amount of sugary, unhealthy food that we had around, so we didn't stop eating until we physically couldn't anymore. It was a bad decision that I made because I was a child, because I didn't understand the consequences of that action. The same way a 13-year-old girl might not understand the danger that she would be inviting having an older man in her home, especially if that person had spent a considerable amount of time grooming her. The responsibility is not on the child or the teenager to make the perfect decisions all the time. It's on the adult to not purposely harm them.
And you still went through with it.
I know.
You still come to visit her. You pull right in, you walk right in to go see her.
Yes, sir.
The only way we can help you is, for you to be honest,
How are you going to help me, sir? What
we
can
talked
you
with
do?
our prosecutor and everything else.
I know what I
Even
was
though
doing.
you're pretty much doing everything and saying the things you're saying for your gratification at home.
Exactly. I know there's things that I shouldn't have done in the past on the internet.
As far as
Chatting with people,
other minors.
other minors, seeing them on camera.
James just casually admitted to creating child sexual abuse material right here. He doesn't seem to realize that, so that's bad. That's a new charge that he didn't have before.
Have you ever sent nude pictures or anything of yourself?
I've been on camera before,
Okay. Nude?
yes, but that wasn't, it was usually for older people.
Okay. But is there a remote possibility you've ever sent a nude picture to a minor?
It's possible. Some people might lie about their age too.
Okay.
When I know her, I think she saw me with my shirt off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, she never saw me naked.
What are these pills that you have with you?
They were just Advil. I went out last night and I had a headache.
They're just Advils?
Yes, sir. A generic Walprofen or something.
Okay. Do you have any pictures or anything on your phone?
No, it's not even a camera phone.
Is your camera? You care if I look?
Go ahead.
No.
You have anything your Corvette we need to know about? Any condoms,
No, like I said, I wasn't intending on really doing anything.
any pornographic pictures.
No, sir.
Okay. You mind if we take a look through that then?
Go ahead, you search my car, that's fine.
Say it's a 98.
Yes, sir.
Did anybody else know that you were coming up here today? Just you. And have you ever had any phone conversation with who you believe Danica?
Just today was the first time I ever talked to her.
Today on your way up here?
No, even before that, this morning, I called her and said, I don't know if I'm going to come or not. I don't really think it's, like I said, I even turned around once and called her and said, I don't really feel comfortable with this.
But you still come.
Well, she said, well, come and we'll just hang out. And I thought, well, if we're just hanging out.
Do you think it's right for a 26-year-old to hang out with a 13-year-old child? Even if it's just sitting
Just
and
hanging out
watching a
watching
movie?
No, probably not.
And you came from
Mainville,
Danville,
Cincinnati.
down by Cincinnati. So, do you feel that's odd? A 26-year-old man drives all the way from Cincinnati up here to sit and watch a movie with a 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I do. I'm not saying I don't need help. I'm not saying there's not something wrong with me.
What do you think's wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I've done that stuff. I've thought about getting help in the past, and I honestly just never thought I could open up to a stranger, a psychiatrist.
So how long have you been doing this?
Well, like I said, I mean, the internet's been around since I was 12, 13. I've always chatted on there.
But how long have you think you've been
I don't
chatting
know.
with minors
I can't give you specifics.
for
I
your
guess
sexual
since
gratification?
last I was
year?
no longer a minor. I mean, I've always chatted to people. It wasn't always minors.
Right.
I don't know. I can't give you any specific dates, honestly. I'm not going to lie and I've chatted to.
Do you enjoy talking to a minor, though, for your gratification?
It wasn't just the minors. It was just girls in general.
Okay. So, either it's a minor or a female, but it's to get your gratification.
Basically, that's all it was for, sir. It was personal. It wasn't that I wanted anything else. Ever.
Okay. But the concern we have is that you come all the way from Cincinnati.
I know.
After everything you said for your gratification,
I know it doesn't look good.
you've come all the way up here and you've met or tried to meet with a 13-year-old female.
I can't explain it. I wish I could. I wish I knew why I was like this and what was wrong with me. I really had thought about getting help in the past, and I thought maybe I had gotten over some of that. In fact, I mean, I deleted a lot of people that I chatted to once in a while. I stopped getting on there for a while, and then I started up again. I thought I could beat it on my own, and apparently I just didn't have the willpower, sir.
Out of everything he has said thus far, this may be the most honest. He is being forthright in admitting that this is a pervasive problem in his life. It wasn't the decoy he was talking to. It wasn't because of his pending divorce, or because too many young girls came on to him. It was because he wanted to do it. He pursued those conversations. He willingly sought out minors to chat with. And ultimately, it is as simple as that. He didn't want to get help with it because vocalizing his issue would be too shameful, and he likely thought that he'd never get caught anyways. But now that he has, and he's exhausted from talking all day, he just readily admits that this is something he does. However, he keeps pushing the onus of responsibility onto anything else but him. He repeats that he doesn't know why he does what he does, or what compels him to do this, even though the answer is quite simple. He does it because he wants to. But by talking about it as if some other thing is forcing him into this, he can feel less responsible for his own predation.
I mean, when you get online with these people and you start talking, what's it make you want to do?
Nothing. I mean, I have never, ever crossed the line with one of my students or anything.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's never even really crossed my mind.
Have you ever chatted with one of your students?
No. Never would have done anything to any of them. Never would have ever, and, attempted it. I think really, when it was online, it was more of a fantasy. Like, this isn't real. But in real life, I never wanted that. And even today, I don't know why I came up. I don't know what made me do it. I wish I could tell you. I know you probably think I'm full of but
So
I'm
if you
really
would have
not.
got here and you would have walked in and there's a 13-year-old girl standing there in her bra and panties, what would have happened? What would you have done?
It's speculative. I don't know. I didn't think that was going to happen.
You didn't think that?
No, sir. Please understand.
It's in your chat log, isn't it? So you can't tell me you didn't have a belief that that could have happened. Am I correct?
It was Listerine strips. You know, it crossed my mind,
There was a thought there that that could
but I
happen.
didn't think it was going to,
Okay.
and I didn't want it to. You got to believe me on that. I didn't want to have sex with her. I didn't even want to kiss her. I didn't really want to do anything. I just wanted to hang out with somebody to take my mind off of my life right now. I just wanted to hang out with somebody that I could talk to. I mean, when I met the girl, I told her, you know, I'm married. And then this week, I was venting to her about, well, whoever I was talking to, about getting a divorce.
There always comes a time in these interviews where the predator will make a swipe at the fact that the person they were talking to wasn't actually a real child, as if it's a huge violation of their trust. It's stupid every time, because it showcases how he genuinely really wanted to be preying upon a minor, and so they're disappointed that the person they were actually talking to is capable of consent.
I mean, I don't know. I know that sounds like bull, but... And your question, I don't know. I don't know if that's a fair question. That's not really what I thought was going to end up happening.
But my question to you is, what if you come up here and we weren't here and they weren't doing what they were doing and there was actually a 13-year-old girl in that house that was waiting on you and just her
wouldn't have done
bras and
anything.
just her panties?
I'm telling you, bottom of my heart, I wouldn't have done anything. I've never done something like that with a kid.
You've never done something like that,
I know
but
you're
you
saying,
went ahead
and I
and come
know
up here.
the studies show that, you know, one thing leads to another with sexual predators. Apparently that's what I am. I never thought I was. I wouldn't. Like I said, I don't know why I'm here.
On your whole way up, on your whole drive up here, when you're thinking about all this, are you thinking to yourself, man, if I show up here and she's like this, what's going to happen? Or did you play this through your mind? I mean, you're telling yourself, I didn't want to do this,
I'm telling myself.
but by
it's
knowing
gonna be-
this, you know what, you listen to me, you know what you're saying to her, you know what she's saying to you. You can't tell me that's not going through your mind the whole way up here from Cincinnati.
Yes, sir, it was. Lots of different things went through my mind.
What was going through your
And the
mind?
conclusion I always came to was, I am not gonna touch this kid.
Okay, but what else was going through your mind?
What do you mean?
I mean, what else? You're thinking about what she told you, how she's going to be dressed, or things you're going
She
to
didn't tell
do?
me what. Actually, I guess she did, but I wasn't gonna.
There's a belief that she could have been in her bras and panties. Am I correct?
She never said she was gonna greet me in her underwear.
Okay. But you talk about getting on top of each
Yes,
other,
I know.
not having shirts
I
on,
know.
grinding on each other.
That was on there. That wasn't what I was gonna do in real life.
Okay. But there's that chance that that could have happened, right?
No.
No.
No. I know you're looking at me and thinking I'm full of it.
But if you showed
No.
up and walked through that door and there's
No.
a 13-year-old like that,
No,
there wouldn't have never been a chance for that to happen.
sir. No. I'm telling you right now. I mean, you're asking me. Don't try to make me tell you something that's not true. No. The whole way up here, I thought, if something she tries, I'm not gonna do it. It's not right. It's real life, and it's not gonna happen. I know you don't believe me, but no. I'm sorry. No.
So what you were writing in there, was that right?
Oh, hell no. Obviously not.
But you did that anyway,
Yes.
and then you're on your way up here, so you came halfway on that one
I wasn't gonna
to
do
make
it.
the trip up here.
I
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
So why even put yourself in that situation?
I don't know.
Why did you even drive all the way up here?
In fact, I wondered if this was some sort of setup the second she said it. I thought I'd be a fool to put myself in that situation. And I'm a fool.
All right. Was there anything else you think you need to tell us or let us know about?
What?
Where's the computer at that you were using to chat back and forth?
In my house.
Okay. And right now you live there by yourself?
Yeah, my wife moved out.
Okay.
Why?
Why do I want to know where your computer's at? I'm just asking where you was at the time when you was doing this. I don't think we're going to take this. There ain't nothing on there as far as pictures. So I don't need that.
Okay.
And now what?
Huh?
Now what?
You're not taking any time? Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Stuff on there.
One call and no pictures, nothing.
What all do you have in your computer at your house?
They've been taking them all
What do you
in.
mean?
Is there any pictures of anybody
It's up to
underage?
you, I don't care.
Underage?
Go ahead and take that.
Probably.
That way we have it.
There is?
Have to.
Probably.
There's one for
Nude pictures?
I don't think so.
There's no nude pictures of anybody underage?
Honestly, I don't.
them. Filter.
I don't
Did you
think.
talk to?
A couple of people on there. I mean, they might be in underwear or something. I don't think there's any nude. I could be wrong. I don't think I've ever had anything or kept anything like that.
Okay. Have you received that? On like
People have
computer?
sent it, and I always just said no, delete it.
Okay.
And any. Sure. I hope not.
Okay.
Maybe, but I don't think.
Are you like 50-50 on that?
Probably.
And James has now admitted to receiving child sexual abuse material, so that is another new charge.
There's
It's a possibility.
probably a decent chance that there is. I mean, you're kind of coin toss at this point.
Yeah. And if there is, I don't know.
Is there any minors on there?
That's what I said. I mean, there are probably people that are minors. I don't think there's any nude pictures. I mean, it's just all this is a picture of me.
Okay.
Some of them have sent provocative pictures, like
As
underwear
far
and
as-
things.
Okay.
It might be on there. I don't think.
And these are minors that have sent you this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, and I'm telling you, it was probably 2 months ago. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And I had pictures at that time and stuff, and I deleted everything, deleted all the people off my friends list. Said, I've got to quit doing this. I'm hurting myself, and I'm going to hurt somebody else. And I just wasn't strong enough to not do it.
How many minors have you been talking with here?
I don't know.
When you deleted everything, how many minors were you talking to at that time?
I don't know.
5, 10, 15,
I don't know.
more?
I don't know. I mean, usually I only talk to a person once or twice and then never talk to them again.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I had ongoing relationships with anybody except a couple of people that I've talked to for years.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is there anything in your vehicle we need to know about?
no, sir, nothing.
You don't have anything hidden in there anywhere or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. And you're going to give us consent to search that? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Just something else. Oh, no.
Do you know your license plate number?
No, I don't.
You call.
You need it?
Yeah, call Corey. See if we can get that. Turner.
We'll actually sign here permission to search for your motor vehicle, okay? You said that they were for sure not going to find anything in there, though, right? Okay.
Did your wife know that you had this problem? Did she know that you talked to minors or anything?
No, this had nothing to do with the divorce or anything.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to stop. It's for her. One of the biggest reasons.
So you're making it sound like, and I'm not trying to say you're a bad person, but that
I'm a bad person, sir.
this has been happening for a good while now. Because you have concerns about
Myself.
what's going on or what's driving you. Is there concerns of where's this leading me to?
That was kind of. I mean, I really never, honestly, even today, didn't intend anything to happen. But that was one of the things I thought I'll quit doing it on my own, and I've thought I should maybe get some help, but I never thought I could talk to somebody about it.
But with your actions and what keeps going and you keep doing more and more, I mean, is there a concern there that
That's why I was thinking about getting help.
this is going to lead to more? That it's going to get more serious?
I really never thought it would. Really never thought it would.
What's your thought now?
I still don't think it would have.
But you're still coming and you're visiting a 13-year-old girl.
Sir, I know. I know.
On the bottom of that one page.
But I don't think I would have done it. Deep down in my heart.
The rest of the interview is repetitive, but again, should you want to see the full thing, along with the processing, a link will be left in the description box down below to the original video, uploaded by Joey's TCAP channel. After his arrest, the Greenville police would notify St. Margaret of York that their 6th grade teacher had been arrested for engaging sexually with a minor, and he would immediately be fired. Allegedly, a mother from the school would call the sheriff's office to thank them personally, stating that he had groomed her daughter while she was his student. As far as we were able to find, no proof of this actually exists, other than it being alleged by someone involved in the case. Given James's statements in his interview and his admission that he has a problem talking to young girls, this wouldn't be surprising or out of character for him to do. James would attempt to fight his charges in court, but he was ultimately unsuccessful. As mentioned, another sting operation would provide the Greenville police with another decoy pretending to be a minor that James had masturbated to on webcam in front of, and he would eventually plead guilty. Despite the severity of the charges, his admission that this was not the first minor he had sexually conversed with online, and the fact that he'd been caught in 2 stings, he was eventually sentenced to 45 days in county jail, followed by 40 hours of community service, as well as 36 months of probation and a fine of $2,000. He was also placed on the sex offender registry in Ohio, but only with the requirement that he report his sexual offender status for 10 years. As of today, Rutherford's name has been removed from the sex offenders registry, and he currently works as a construction inspector. So, if you've made it to this portion of the video, thank you so much for watching. These videos are always highly requested, and we hoped we covered this case to your liking. If not, let us know why in the comments down below. But if you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. So remember, stay safe.